Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, DEI Coordinator for the City of Appleton.
And I'm Andy Anam, the Communications Manager for the city.
And Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together.
Today, we have a very special organization with us who are supporting entrepreneurs and putting dreams to work since 1987.
Oh, 87? Facts. Okay. I'm just super excited about having this particular organization on as well as these guests because they are a major part of helping to make our community a better place. So without any further ado, this week's guests are Wendy Baumann, President and CVO, and Kmassey, Northeast Wisconsin Regional Director for WWBIC. How are we doing today?
Doing great, and thank you so much both, Timber and Andy, for having us here today. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Timber and Andy, as well, for having us.
Okay. Are y'all ready to jump in?
Ready.
Ready?
Okay. Can you please tell us about yourself and your association with Appleton and the Fox Cities region? Wendy, let's start with you.
Sure. Well, a little bit my background. I've been president actually in 2024, now 30 years. So a little bit.
30?
30 years. And my line is, and I still look good.
Yeah.
So truly, the opportunity to serve this organization for 30 years has been great. And a little bit personally, a couple degrees, this and that. But I'll go back to my parents. My mother, professor of political science, way ahead of her game, PhD, and was one of these individuals that was, more than a mother, but a great role model. You can do anything you set out to do, way ahead of the ball game in terms of women's sort of rights and leading and running organizations. She served in the Carter administration and just was, amazing. No longer with us, but an amazing role model. And also believed in education and how important education is. No one can take that away. My father, Mr. Entrepreneur. He owned small businesses. He owned tea rooms. He owned restaurants. He owned retail stores. So I grew up with such a different combination of academia and then small business. And when I think of WWBIC now, that's exactly what we are. We provide that training, that quality training, education on starting and growing a business. So that education piece is so much there, but also that free spirit of entrepreneurship and small business. My tie to Appleton briefly, been here gazillion times, mainly when I was in high school because my dear sister has her degree from Lawrence University. So got to know Appleton early on and just love the city.
Okay. Kim.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks, Wendy. Yes, Kmassey, and I'm the Regional Director for Northeast Wisconsin for WWBIC. And some of my local ties, Wendy, just kind of to piggyback on some of the things that you said, but more focusing on that community aspect, is I grew up at a place here, and many people know it. It's been around over 40 years, called Rawhide Boys Ranch. Currently now it is called Rawhide, but we lived there for, I'd say, at least 10 years as a house family. So I really believe that dynamic. Again, the place, it's near Wapaka, I'd say about 30 miles west of Appleton. But it was a place for at-risk youth to really come and just get the support they needed at the time, no matter where they were at in their journey in their life. And so being a house family, I really got to see for those 10 years the value of a community coming together, like the individuals, government, and other corporations just coming together to make the community and the culture shared by everybody better. So just being in that environment really catapulted the work that I did after that. Was in fundraising. So for about 20 years, did many different fundraising for various organizations like the Boys and Girls Clubs here in Appleton, was really instrumental in helping that organization come to life with the Capital Campaign, to currently the Wisconsin Veterans Village, where we were housing 48 veterans. So I got to really see that support, and really that experience has landed, and that process that I learned along the way landed me to here with WWBIC, and really being able now to make that surround support and helping these entrepreneurs is another really important piece that is just so close to my heart.
All right. Thank you. At this time, can you please tell us about WWBIC And let's start off with the question that I think we all might have, and that is, what does WWBIC stand for?
When people say WWBIC, I still laugh because it sounds like a frog. WWBIC, WWBIC. But it's a mouthful. The Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation. So it's a lot to say, so we shorten it as WWBIC. And we're sort of really known in the state of Wisconsin, too, as that tagline, WWBIC. And in some ways, that's also good because we do serve men. And so we don't want that title to also confuse individuals. We do keep women in our title. About 75% of the clients we serve are women. And unfortunately, still in this day and age, women often do gravitate to a place where they feel they're going to be safe and get those quality and top services. And I think having women in our title also provides that. So that's what it stands for.
And can you please tell us about WWBIC?
Sure. The organization is now almost 37 years old, so it's been around for a little bit. And we think of WWBIC as a statewide, innovative economic development corporation. And I appreciate Andy saying our tagline, putting dreams to work. So WWBIC is, at its essence, sort of two focus. One is providing quality business and financial training. That equates to 400 and some sessions a year throughout the state of Wisconsin. Early morning, throughout the day, evening, on ground, online, hybrid, about having that light bulb over your head and having to go to a place to say, is this business idea I have viable? To actually saying, I really need a business plan. I got an idea, I'm going to move ahead, I need a business plan. To, I have this business going, I want to grow it. I want to accelerate it. I need to advance it. To, I have my business and I'm struggling a little bit. I think I maybe need to go back for some 101 in marketing and financing and understanding my sort of administrative model. So it's a little bit for everybody, but the majority of our training is on that early stage startup. Almost all is pay what you can afford, so a good deal is at no cost. We try not to make that an impediment, so if individuals want to go to a session, our Start, Run, and Grow, I think we bill that at $250 or something to that effect. But if that's an impediment, we'll find a way for a scholarship to be able to get individuals there. So it's very accessible. 24/7 you can register. So that's sort of the training aspect of it. Also some things around financial well-being and financial literacy. And again, go on the website, WWBIC.com, and can register directly for any of that training. And then the other part of the house that we do is what we call now fair and responsible capital, small loans, credits from $1,000 to $350,000. And the deals that we're doing, a lot of startups, and also the deals are generally shy of bank financing. And they're shy because it is a startup, and generally banks are not really lending to startups. It's shy because of the use of the funds. They use the funds for inventory, working capital, again, things that banks generally don't like to finance. And it might be shy because real or perceived, the business owner might be perceived as at risk. Perhaps a low credit score, perhaps color history, perhaps a bankruptcy in the past. And we definitely embrace individuals. We'd like to see that credit score going up, not going down. And we understand, as they say, that life happens. So we want to see past that bankruptcy. Was it because we were frivolous, or was it because there was a divorce? Was it because a child or somebody in the family had health issues? So we look past that bankruptcy far more than, again, financial institutions can do. We have our box, but our box is much bigger than a bank box. So that's, in essence, the two things that WWBIC does.
So you are a microlender in a way.
Correct.
So what kind of challenges you see with the new businesses, especially when your name suggests a women-owned business? And I know we women do find challenges when we go and ask for loans. What have been your experience with the immigrant women coming from diverse backgrounds? What have been the challenges, and how WWBIC have been able to address them?
I think, and I'll have Kim comment too, but our door is very, very open. So for example, our training, while we do some of our training at our WWBIC offices, we do training within the community, at the YWCA, at a community center, at a job center, in partnership with other organizations that are trusted and, again, perceived as safe within that community. And that makes a difference. Our trainers are not only our staff, but individuals that do it in the WWBIC way. And the WWBIC way is professional and friendly. The WWBIC way is dialoguing with the individuals that are in our training, and also always sharing strategic next steps. So you came to a session, are you thinking about starting a business? What's next? Do you think you're going to move that ahead? Or do you think that maybe right now it's not the right time to start a business? But what are your next steps? We also try to be there, if you will, to some degree, 24/7. Our offices are, general office hours, 8:30 to 5-ish, and our different 5 regional offices we have throughout the state. There is a lot that still occurs on evenings and early, and what we want to do, unlike some other organizations, and not to be negative, but if you go to a training with WWBIC some afternoon, you can call somebody the next day and scratch your head and say, I think I missed something. I feel like I need a little bit more on this marketing strategy. And that information might be on our website, or it might be something that we can, again, provide. Right. So just, again, that friendly nature of flowing in and out. There's no have-tos. You drive the train as you want to drive the train to your business, but we do try to provide you and guide you a little bit with those train tracks.
So my question is, I have the opportunity and incredible honor to be in one of your events, which was mind-blowing. I loved it, and I felt like, okay, I can be an entrepreneur too normally, because there's a lot of investment involved in all those. So how do you work with the cities? And because I saw mayors coming from different cities, so how do you do that partnership?
Yeah, we actually, and Kim can speak to the good mayor here in Appleton, but we have partnerships probably in about 13 different cities where the city is actually partner in the sense, in my mind, of time, talent, and treasure. That we might have city officials being part of our organization, ambassador advisory council, serving on different committees and being active in that way. The city is often a referral. Oh, we see this new business, and yes, it's going to go downtown, but wow, they said they needed financing. Let's make sure we refer them to WWBIC, so that referral source. And then the city proper is often providing us with direct grant support through either block grant or their economic development, and that's very helpful. And why that's also helpful is not only those resources. Without money, it's hard to advance mission, but WWBIC brings in 4 federal sources of funding. So back to this good state, back to this good city. And with that, this is our collective taxpayer dollars, if you will. They like to see local match. So we leverage those city dollars with federal sources and private sources to be able to lay those resources, like I shared before, at no cost or low cost to the citizens of that city or that community. Anything you want to add, Kim?
Yeah, well, Wendy, thank you. And I was going to just take it. You explained that really, really well. And I was even just thinking about here in Appleton is, as a regional director, even looking and partnering, that partnerships are really, really important. So working with our ADI, the Appleton Downtown Incorporated, so just because they've got a pulse on really the small business community. So really working with Jennifer Stefani recently, we set up a meeting because she's like, oh, I've heard of WWBIC a little bit, but what else? What more do you do? Because there is so much. And there's many different ways that we can come in and help, again, a business start, strengthen, or expand. So working at that level, too. So we have a meeting set up for, I think, 2 weeks. So we're going to meet and just really talk through, again, how we can really help already what's existing downtown, or, again, with all the development that's coming up. How else can we be a part of this and really look at some of the startups that are in our fold and where they want to go. So even looking at infrastructure, who do we need to connect with to fill some of these vacant locations downtown?
And most cities have wisdom, and certainly Appleton and others do, but sometimes we're also providing that insight to a city and a mayor's office and even a mayor's staff on the importance of micro and small businesses, how that makes up that local fabric. Nothing about anti-big box, but we're definitely pro-little box. So when that mayor makes that announcement on this big corporation coming in with 500 employees, that's fabulous, but don't forget about X business across the street that's providing that coffee, X restaurant, X place that's providing the cleaning services and the like. That has to be at the table along with that big box.
Well, you know what I really appreciate? I appreciate the fact that, from what I know, that you have regional advisory committees so that they have a pulse on what's going on, and you actually do listen to their suggestions and create strategic plans with them. I think that is fantastic, because I would guess, because WWBIC is throughout Wisconsin, right?
Correct. Yes, statewide.
So I would guess that all of these different cities, all these different counties, even though we're all Wisconsin, we're probably all just a little different.
You are. And we have the regional advisory councils are that. So Northeast, Southwest, South Central, Greater Milwaukee. We also have one for veterans and one for our work we do with Kiva, crowdsourcing for Kiva loans. We just had that actually this morning as I was driving here to Appleton. And it is important. I sort of created this idea of ambassador advisory councils, and an ambassador, you have that title for life, so everybody likes that. They have to stay on. But what we like about it, too, is that there's no have-tos. So we're really inviting ideas and thoughts. You don't have to go back and have homework afterwards. If you want to be more supportive and work with us further, we will. But just having that area of people giving you unbridled advice, suggestions, ideas, what you're doing right, what you could maybe improve upon, what gaps there are is very helpful to us. So again, Kim leads this one in the Northeast. It's her sounding board. It's not just about a handful of meetings a year. It's about being that sounding board in that region.
Yeah, and thank you, and Timber, and thank you because you are a member of that council. And recently, just having that meeting with Northeast, we are about 17 counties. So I always say that council that we have really completes the brain here because there are many different partnerships I'm not aware of things happening. So really getting that council together. We currently have about 10 members, always taking in others just to lend their expertise, their time, their talent. Many have advice on where else we can connect at places that we haven't, that we don't know what's going on, or really taking a pulse in a different county, but then also volunteering their time. Like recently we had a gentleman who owned a commercial real estate company, and he retired, and he's like, oh, okay, like I really know how to negotiate leases. I really know how to lend my expertise on that. So again, I wouldn't have known that, but he was invited on and now lends his experience. So we were really able to connect him with a small business here. So again, thank you, Timber, as well.
Who do you all serve? So, and I ask that because women is in your title, but there are other demographics that you're focused on,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So,
Well, WWBIC came out of the women's economic empowerment movement 37 years ago, so women are significant. And like I said, when we crunch our numbers, really cumulatively and annually, about 75% of our clients are women. But from day one, WWBIC focused on women, people of color, and lower wealth individuals. And that's overwhelmingly who we still serve. Anybody can come to WWBIC's training, and they do. Anybody can get a WWBIC loan, and they do, but it's where we focus our limited resources. At some point, there's limited resources. So our partners, we're aligned with individuals that, again, are working with and or supporting those type of individuals. When we look at stats, again, 75% women. Last year, 92% of our clients in greater Milwaukee were people of color, 66% statewide, and we're really a white state. So we are definitely driving that. 65% low and moderate income. About 7% right now of the clients we serve are veterans. We'd like to grow that piece, but it's still not bad considering that we're really trying to reach out to that veteran community, and that's identified as veteran. We might be serving individuals that didn't identify themselves as being veteran. So again, like anything with the business, what have you, you have to know the who, what, where, when, and why, and we're very, very clear on that. But again, it's where we focus that energy in that time.
So, as a microlender, when a person comes to you with an idea, is there charges involved in giving them a strategy of how they can move and how they can develop this idea into a viable business? Like what kind of things you do to make it more impactful for the person who is approaching you for the help?
Our website is fairly good that it talks about the loan application process.
Sure.
So people can read and see the steps, see the timing, see what they want to do. They drive it 24/7. You can apply for a loan. But say along the line you're going, I don't get that. What do they mean? You can call. You can come in. Kim and her team and other regional directors in the other offices say, come on in. Let's sit here with you. We can help beam up these papers to the system. But we do have to have something that is the same process and platform for
Right.
all to be fair and equitable. But we think it's friendly. We've worked at it very hard. Most of our website is also in English and Spanish. So again, it's really about guiding individuals down that path, asking those hard questions. They have to provide the answers, but we'll help them along the way. Most of our training, as I said, that guides individuals is no cost. We also have an online 24/7 portal with small vignettes around management, money, and marketing that we can give a code and they can have access to, anywhere from 15 minutes to a half an hour, sort of how to do things, and that's also in English and Spanish. There are fees to apply for a loan, but they're nominal, and so that's basically how the process works.
So my only interesting question to you would be we can see the demographics are changing, and many of the immigrants don't come with a lot of resource or wealth or no credit score even. So in those cases, what kind of eligibility relaxation is provided to those individuals who want to set up some store or something?
Right. We are able to lend to individuals who have a tax ID number, so
Okay.
we don't require citizenship, if you will. And we at WWBIC ask what the federal government and the public sources demand. So we're only asking what the federal, like the good city of Appleton, and other cities and or federal governments require. Otherwise, that's not our business. So
Right.
most of those things are led by funding sources that we are required to do because we're leveraging those sources. In terms of individuals that have fewer resources, again, our training is so good and we go within communities and that's no cost. And then the other piece in terms of loans, they can certainly access a WWBIC loan, but we specifically are engaged actually with the crowdsourcing Kiva that began in the developing world and now is brought to the United States, came to the United States in 2011, came to Milwaukee in 2014, and now we've grown it statewide. And actually Wisconsin, because I really think of our work at WWBIC, is this third state with the largest number of Kiva loans. So
Wow.
we've lent to over 650 individuals through Kiva, $4.5 million. And these, again, are itty-bitty little loans of $2,000, average size $7,500. That is perfect for a start-up. I've got this idea. I'm doing sewing. I'm doing a small start-up business to be able to still provide those resources. Also ideal for some childcare businesses
Right.
to make a promotion. Sometimes a childcare business goes out of business because they don't have $1,500 to put the required fence around their yard. So it really is a nice fit. Crowdsourcing, again, only for small businesses, 0%.
Wow, wow, wow. Because the testimonials, Timber, I heard on that day, it was so impactful. It touched my heart. Like, having an organization this powerful to help the people grow in their life and to achieve the dreams they have about their entrepreneurship is nothing sort of less. It's incredibly powerful thing to see.
Facts. So my question now is, how big is the team?
About 60 to 65 full-time across the state. And again, the offices in those 5 regions at this time.
Okay.
About a $9 million budget, a loan portfolio of about $26 million.
All right. So at this time, we're going to ask you both to please share a story with the Appleton Engage listeners that help them understand the impact of WWBIC.
Why don't you go first, Kat?
Yeah, I will. Thank you. I'm like pausing because there's many, but one that was, and one I'll touch on two. One is I'll go a little longer with it, but then the second one was just recent. But again, it really shows the color of what we do. So there's a hair lounge, Nectar Hair Lounge. So again, I'm going to do some promoting for this, but this one is in Menasha area, but again, a sister city, and they came wanting to do this. She worked for a salon for a very long time and wanted to really go out and do her own. So she did have her business plan. She had everything ready and lined up. The funding piece is what she really needed support with. So she calls WWBIC because she heard from a friend. Call WWBIC, and so we wrapped around her with some support as far as some extra training. We said, okay, if the loan process, right, that underwriting process is still the same to apply for loans. So we're like, okay, what do you have in place? So we really looked at her business plan, and there were just a few little tweaks that we had to make. But so she made the tweaks, and she went through the loan process and really appreciated it because with that loan process, she was able to really present at the loan committee, which is sometimes something you don't always get at a traditional bank. So able to really have FaceTime. So from that, she did get the loan, but she then did not know where to locate it. So we were able to looking at the vacant areas, having that infrastructure, which now we have somebody here looking for Appleton as well, but able to look at the infrastructure like downtown, in this downtown Menasha, like where should I locate? So we were able to connect her with a vacant building, and they were very patient because the timing then with her loan took a little bit longer than when she thought about the lease. So really helped just with that conversation with the landlord. Like when does you got approved for the loan, the money is distributed. Now how does that all look? So we're able to really go with her to have this conversation with the landlord. So we did all of that, great relationship, and then continued. And the one thing too that we didn't really touch on is what really makes WWBIC special, and this was a role that I had for a year, was having a small business consultant. So with this Nectar Hair Lounge, Angela was able to receive a small business coach that really stepped in as well. So, and that happened to be me at the time. So we were able to really start looking at, okay, you've got, 3 months before you open. I mean, the reality, right? This is when the real loan payments start to come into play. So we're able to really guide her through like the first 3 months when it's interest only, and then really talk through about when the loan payment gets going, and then really her wanting to do the love, which is her hair, bring her hair salon to the area. So we're like, oh, let's plan a grand opening. So then we got to talk about all the fun stuff as well. So just being a part of that, that was maybe so let's say 6 months ago maybe, and now here she is fully open. She had her grand opening maybe two months ago, but just really living her best life. The building is beautiful, and her logo on the outside is great. So now, as within then this Northeast region, then the small business coach just continues to check in, like, okay, where are you at? How is the grand opening? Where do you want to do next? So just really coming in and being a mentor, just listening to areas that she thinks, oh, I'm doing really great here, but I want to grow here. So just coming alongside and really helping guide her. So that is one story here. And then a real fast recent one, and there was a loan closing that we call it, which happened maybe 2 months ago in Little Chute, but it's with an archery. It's this new archery place that has, they're serving beer with archery, which may sound not as safe. I know. I was like, even when I say it out loud, I'm like, what? But
Wait a minute. I was going to make sound effects, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it alone.
Right? Well, there we go. There's something new to the area because I hadn't, and it's again, bent knock. And so that was really special because they, again, went through the underwriting process, were proof of the loan, and so we went. So somebody here within our WWBIC team traveled here, and we did the loan closing at their location, Little Chute. It's not done yet. It's like there needs a lot of work. So it's just like this white box. We sat there in the middle with the table, and they're so excited again because they can visualize and know what their plan is. But they sign their loan documents, and they're so excited. And so again, being in that small business coach again, and with the Northeast region, even though we all have titles, we're all a team. So we all just jump in where we need to help. So we just went alongside and just got excited with them, and then just started to help them plan. Now, what does the next 3 months look like as you really tear off the skin on this and really start to make it look really like your business?
Well, she told two stories, so she used my story, but I want to add on to two parts. I could tell you hundreds and thousands of those that I've had over my 30 years, and they're all beautiful. The gratitude and the thanks of this organization, and going around and going, some maybe could have made it, but some you just know, if not for WWBIC, they wouldn't be there. But one part that's beautiful is we do model sort of the real world, and you go to training and you write your business plan and you go to a loan, and it's what you need to do. You're going to run your own business, for goodness sakes. But the one thing about our loan committee is credits over $50,000, so $50,000 to $350,000. We have a live loan committee, and the borrower actually comes to loan committee, and they're nervous, right? This is all riding on it because almost for sure they can't get bank financing, and they're there. And I try to start it out and laugh a little bit, but I always say this isn't Shark Tank, which I can't stand that show. This isn't Shark Tank. This is, because they're mean, this is Dolphin Pool. We just want you, though, to share the goodness of this because we see some things on paper that might make us have a little bit of an eyebrow. We will understand the circumstances behind it. We want you to pitch this idea, and it really is beautiful when you get to see that full story.
What kind of events are coming up? Because I cannot wait to see the amazing things you are doing in the region.
Well, Kim can maybe comment on some of those because, every single week at WWBIC something's happening.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's great. And just even like looking, ahead if you're a new entrepreneur or a seasoned business owner or just want to improve your financial health, we do have a great bunch of trainings, some of them coming up like in June 18th. Again, these are ones that can be hybrid, in person, online, or on demand. But this one is Introduction to Building Out a Business Plan. We've got another Strategic Planning for Your Small Business taking place in June. There's a few others that I'm looking at right now in my catalog because there's so many to pull from in funds in motion, money in, money out. And some of these are ones that I've heard from some of our current business owners that were really helpful. The importance of financial statements beyond your shoebox, right? Believe it or not, some people, depending on where they keep their receipts or how they commingle accounts, some of this has been really, really helpful. So again, like you can go to our website, WWBIC.com, and really go look at the training calendar because you don't have to take some of them that are local, even though we really like to promote the in-person ones just to see and talk to you in person and kind of face-to-face. But again, we always want to work with your schedule. So if there's some that you need to do online or access other trainings because of having over 400, you can then access other trainings in other areas.
So do we have to go to the website and go to the Appleton region? How can they find the information? Because I know WWBIC is statewide, so.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you go right to the website, and there is it's a training, and the training, it shows you the training calendar, and it shows it's color-coded for our area.
Awesome.
But then but then it's able to show you the entire training. Because recently we did have a training 2 weeks ago, and we had two individuals from Milwaukee come because they just happened to be in this area. So we're like, okay, there's value in that they can access all that's going on. But also just continue to stay in touch with and looking on Facebook for us as well, and even LinkedIn, because we do have a bunch of other, as we're developing partnerships with SCORE and all of our other partners, we are planning other events that we'll have in person and in partnerships, like in Green Bay, again, Fond du Lac, Manitowoc, so looking, and even in Appleton here, so continue to just look also on other Facebook for maybe real time.
Amazing.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because you know what, that's something we didn't ask about, and that is, and I just happen to know y'all happen to partner with a lot of really good other organizations that help entrepreneurs get started. Who are some of those partnerships with, and how does that work?
Well, I would say some of the close partnerships would be other SBA partners, so SCORE chapters, Service Corps of Retired Executives, a lot of referrals from SCORE chapters to us for the training as well as the lending. The Small Business Development Centers also, those are just excellent through the university, and they, again, do not provide that capital and provide some similar training, but also different. You know, I was thinking, like, sometimes you feel like a McDonald's hamburger, sometimes you feel like a Burger King hamburger, so you can go to SBDC or WWBIC training. And, again, very collaborative in nature. Local chambers, minority chambers, local chambers that are within cities and regions. There might be some women organizations that we maybe focus on, and others, community partners. So it is a big range.
Is there anything the community can do to be helpful?
Absolutely. So, you know, the classic borrowing from the Catholic religion, time, talent, and treasure. So certainly we need funds to keep things going. We have actually an offering for accredited investors if they're interested in investing in our portfolio, where we then relend that money. Grants, of course, corporations, foundations, individuals that can provide some support. All of that's on the website. But probably really the biggest thing I would say is talent and then referrals. In terms of talent, you can think of who we need: bankers, accountants, attorneys, marketing experts, IT, everything that a small business needs to succeed and get started. We can leverage that. If you'd like to work one-on-one with entrepreneurs, we can do that. If you'd like to be part of facilitating a training, we can do that. If you'd like to help with the infrastructure and work with our staff around some of those issues, we can do that. We have about 250 active volunteers right now statewide, but always welcoming more, especially within local communities. And then probably the biggest piece is referral. Approximately 17% of the U.S. population is thinking of starting a business. So if it's not you, it's your brother, it's your sister, it's your mom, it's your neighbor, it's your friend. And just saying, hey, yeah, you know, I heard about this great, podcast that I heard about with these great people from WWBIC on. Give them a look, give them a call. But really, that referral piece is key.
That is fantastic too, and I'm thinking about even just as we're seated here today and coming to this, in this city. Downtown College Avenue, that's my first thing, is just shop the small businesses. And again, because we're located here, that's where my thought goes immediately, because I can think of on the far east side there is I think it's more west side, try to get myself all my true north. But there's Uni Uni, there's the Bubble Tea, there's also, we have Bowl 91, and you don't have to go any further than after that to Eco Candle, which was a long, long time ago, but a really good representation here of downtown College Avenue. So just really support those small businesses. I know many of them, we have our WWBIC logo too. We have little decals for many of them that we have in their window, so you can get to know us that way as well by looking at the decal that's in their window. But just shopping the small businesses, it really, really matters. It makes a difference.
Who can people contact if they would like to learn more, and how do they do that?
I mean, I think the best is really going to the website, just because everything's there. There you can obtain the direct email of, Kim here being the regional director. But I think the website is probably the best. Also, it lists all the phone numbers. I mean, our offices are open. You can give a call if you're not a person who likes to do on the website. Kim, you can share your email with everybody if you like.
Yeah, yes, please. And I can say it twice. It's my first initial K, and then my last name spelled out Massey, Massey, at WWBIC.com. So again, Kmassey, Massey, at WWBIC, WWBIC.com.
Okay. And that is the website, right? WWBIC.com.
Yep, WWBIC.com.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Is there any additional info you feel is important to share with the Appleton Engaged listeners that we didn't ask a question about?
I think to make a note of the importance of small business. I think if we look at the horrific epidemic or, COVID, health crisis, economic crisis, social justice crisis. You look that small businesses, the light was shed on the world of small businesses, the importance of small businesses within our community locally, nationally, and internationally, and to think about that. Buying from those businesses, thinking about those businesses. 85% of the businesses in the state of Wisconsin are micro small business. They're an important, vital part of our economy. And so much fun to go into a small business and look at the owner and buy something from him or her, or the service, plumbing, electrical, everything. I don't touch anything unless it's a WWBIC client. I literally don't. Right. Bankers want to take me out to fancy restaurants. No can do. We can go to these 20 restaurants if you like, but I can't go to the other one. So really, live with that sentiment, and I think you'll truly enjoy it.
So do you want to give shout out to the wonderful volunteers, people who make the WWBIC team?
Well, first I would completely do a shout out to our 60 FUM staff people, because we think of them as the WWBIC family. We think of them as team members. They do great work. They have great expertise. They care. Many individuals have been with us for decades, and it's a beautiful group. Kim's been with us now for a couple years, and I really thank the team, because the team gets things done. I thank our volunteers, of course, our board, our loan committee, our ambassador advisory councils, the volunteers that help us on a regular basis, and to our funders and policymakers who see the light and see the importance of small business within their community.
Yeah, and I too, I think that our local partners, again, as we mentioned them before, but we wouldn't be anywhere without just even being in this role and being invited to, again, organizations here right downtown in the city of Appleton, but also, again, that what makes it really great is the entire Fox City. So just being invited to the table for other partners saying, okay, they're the eyes and ears. Okay, we really need help with these businesses. So some of the banks that we have partnerships with that say, don't say no, say WWBIC. So there's many banks that are referral sources for us. And just in part too, that we are here. So please, that the email that I sent out, or even on the website, and we really pride ourselves always working that if you do reach out to us too, that we really will get back to you and make it a priority. So if you're just thinking of starting a business or have a question for a friend, but just access us, use us as a resource. We just want to be here to be that surround support.
Okay. Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Wendy. At this time, we're going to start wrapping up this episode. Appleton Engaged listeners, I just want to say thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for caring about our community and checking in on another episode to learn about another amazing resource that's out here making our community a better place. We are a work in progress. We are trying to become the #1 podcast in Northeast Wisconsin, and we need your help to do that. A couple of things we need you to do. Number one, if you've got any suggestions on how we can make the show better, please reach out to us. If you would like to be a guest or would like to recommend a guest for Appleton Engaged, please reach out to us. And you can reach out to us at diversity@appleton.org. Once again, that is diversity@appleton.org. Also, while you're listening to this podcast that will eventually become the #1 podcast in Northeast Wisconsin, I just had to throw that in there. Please take a moment and hit the subscribe button. And if you've got a few more moments, take time and fill out a review. What this does is this improves our analytics. And the better our analytics, the more eyes and ears this podcast is able to get in front of. We think we have something very, very special here in the city of Appleton with this podcast. We're building community with this podcast, and it would be awesome if more of our community knew about this podcast.
Thank you, Wendy and Kim. As you said, you are your dream, your foundation, your growth. And I think WWBIC is giving the wings to those dreams, which is not something, what one should take lightly. You may have dream, but you may need resources, and that's what the power of WWBIC is. So please, please, please do check out their website, their Facebook pages, get acclimatized, get informed, and meet the people from WWBIC so that they can help you achieve your dream. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.